3 non-academic lessons that my PhD taught. Lesson number 1, the chapter of introduction. So I'm going to be covering these in the order of the chapters. And so chapter number 1, when we write a thesis, is the introduction chapter. लेकिन यहाँ पे लोग मार खाते हैं और यहाँ मैंने भी मार खाई वो ये कि you don't have to write the chapter of introduction in the beginning. I was so twisted in my mind जब मैंने introduction का chapter लिखने बैठी और मुझे लगा कि light क्यों off है ये much better. Okay. जब मैं अपना introduction का chapter लिखने बैठी, I was so confused कि what if I change my mind in the middle? What if I change my theory? What if I have to tweak things? And then it dawned on me in one of the lessons that I was learning about academic writing. And my teacher was like, why are you wrecking your brain over the introduction right now? I was like, but it's the first chapter. Like, don't I start with the first chapter? And she's like, no, Kaval, what are you, dumb? You don't write the first chapter in the beginning. And so you should embrace non-linear process. How do you translate this to your life? अगर आप कोई भी business शुरू कर रहे हैं, अगर कोई भी project शुरू कर रहे हैं, कोई भी process, anything that is worth doing, that means anything to you, चाहे वो business है या कोई entrepreneurship का, whatever it is, you know. Don't look at it as step 1 has to be the step 1 for everyone. Maybe you have to come back for things. Let's give you an example, like branding. So अगर आप business शुरू कर रहे हैं अपना, yes, branding matters and visuals and all of that. But if it doesn't make sense for you to do that right now, then skip over it. Skip over it. Go with the bare bones. I started with the bare bones introduction chapter, and once I had written more than 90,000 words of my entire thesis, I went back, and that's when I wrote the introduction, because I had all the information that I needed. Everything was written down, everything was sorted, everything was finalized. And so then I could make sense of what my introduction had to say. I know it might sound really simple to you, but thinking about this in terms of life, it makes sense. हर चीज़ का कोई linear path होना ज़रूरी नहीं है. हो सकता है आप किसी और का जो फाइनल प्रोडक्ट देख रहे हैं, जैसे मेरा फाइनल प्रोडक्ट मेरा थीसिस था, वो फाइनल प्रोडक्ट लोगों ने यही अज्यूम किया होगा कि चैप्टर 1 पहले है तो ये पहले लिखा होगा, 2 बाद में है तो फिर ये बाद में लिखा होगा. बट नो, योर प्रोसेस डजंट हैव टू रिफ्लेक्ट योर प्रोडक्ट. वो प्रोडक्ट बनाना आपका काम है. आपका जर्नी वो प्रोडक्ट बनाने के लिए जो भी हो, नो वन इज़ गोइंग टू सी दैट एंड नो वन हैज़ टू सी दैट. दे हैव टू सी द फाइनल प्रोडक्ट. And whatever process it takes you to get to that final product, take it and get there faster. Lesson number 2, how to filter through noise. So chapter number 2 is the literature review. और इस chapter ने मेरी जान खा ली थी, because it's supposed to do that. It's brutal. रुला देता है ये. रुलाते तो खैर सारे chapters हैं. Anyway, literature review में क्या होता है कि So imagine कि जो बड़े बड़े experts हैं आपकी फील्ड में, फॉर एग्जांपल मेरी फील्ड में फॉरेन पॉलिसी एनालिसिस में, वो सब एक पहाड़ पे बैठे हैं, ठीक है, वो सामने वाले पहाड़ पे बैठे हैं, ये वाले पहाड़ पे, ये बड़े वाले पहाड़ पे बैठे हैं और 8-10 लोग हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं हैं, और वो आपस में बातें शातें कर रहे हैं, चाय शाय पी रहे हैं. अब मैं उठ के जाती हूँ वहाँ पे, so I go and read their books and I read their papers, but I can't talk to them. So I get to the mountain and I can't talk to them because they're like, who are you? And I can't talk to them because I'm a nobody. They don't know who I am. And in academia, people know you through your work. That's it. You publish, they read you, they see you in citations, and they see you. Nobody would see me. So in order for you to be taken seriously, you have to talk to the experts. And how do you talk to the experts? पहले सुनो जाके वो क्या बात कर रहे हैं, right? You don't want to look dumb. You go and listen to them. So the first time you go, you listen to them. Oh, ये उसने उससे ये कहा, उसने उससे वो कहा, उसने उसका ये जवाब दिया. You're just absorbing कि बात हो क्या रही है. समझ लो उस बात को. और कोई बीच में कोई बोंगी मारे, you're like, nah, this doesn't matter. Like, what he's saying doesn't make sense. That is filtering out the noise. You filter out the noise of everything in your life that doesn't make sense. If someone is not an expert, if someone is not doing what you want to do, then their words mean nothing to you. Might sound rude, might sound brutal, but let's say you're working on a project that has to do something with a plant business. Are you going to go and talk to people who work in a pharmacy who have absolutely no clue about running a plant store or a store? Yeah, there are some things that you can learn from them in business generally, but just let's stick to that. So the skill to filter out noise from your life is an essential skill to have in this day and age. Because हर लल्लू पंजू के पास mic है, camera है, phone है, anything, and everyone wants your attention. Everyone wants your time. You have a limited amount of brain space, you have a limited amount of energy, you have a limited amount of attention जो आपने अपने लिए संभाल के रखनी है for things that really matter. So हर लल्लू पंजू की बात मानने वाली नहीं होती. Okay? Get that in your head. And filter out the noise. चाहे वो noise आपको YouTube से मिल रही है, चाहे वो noise आपको real life में हर कोई कह रहे ये कर लो, कोई कह रहे वो कर लो, कोई कह रहे ये कर लो, सबकी बात सुने. But have that little filter in your head कि कौन सी बात मुझे मेरे मकसद में help कर रही है या नहीं कर रही. अगर वो नहीं करी, then it's noise. Cut it out. Lesson number 3. You cannot get away with anything if you don't leave a mark. You have to find a gap in the market to be recognized. So let's go with this mountain wali analogy. जब पहाड़ पे अभी हम बैठ के सब चाय पी रहे थे, पहाड़ पे बैठे हुए हैं सारे experts. Now I find a gap to that little garden place that they're sitting, and I'm like, ooh, there's a gap. There's this like secret little pathway, and that secret little pathway is the one that I found. I found a gap. And I found a way where I can go and talk to them. So what was my gap? My gap was कि अच्छा पाकिस्तान की foreign policy analysis में किसी ने भी neoclassical realist perspective से नहीं देखा उसको, perspective से नहीं देखा उसको. And so that's the gap that I found that was left for me. That was left for me to find. वो मेहनत मुझे करनी थी, वो जगह वो रास्ता मैंने ढूंढना था. अगर आप कोई भी अपना चैनल स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं या आप अपना कोई प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, कोई बिज़नेस स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, कोई फ्रीलांसिंग सर्विस स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, फाइंड अ वे दैट सेट्स यू अपार्ट. फाइंड योर एक्स फैक्टर, फाइंड योर थिंग दैट ओनली यू आर लुकिंग एट. हो सकता है आपके उसमें, आपकी लोकेलिटी में, आपके प्रोजेक्ट में या आपके बिजनेस में किसी की प्रोडक्ट सेम हो लेकिन कस्टमर सर्विस इज शिट. So maybe you can give a really good customer service and you can amplify that in your approach to your business. Jab tak you're not gonna think about leaving your mark, you can't be taken seriously. And so when I found my mark, I found my own hill, because those experts were like, fine, okay, you're gonna publish this thesis and you've published this paper. You can't sit up here with us because we've published like thousands and millions of books, but that's your hill. That hill is vacant. Go make that your hill. And so now I'm sitting on a hill. I'm actually sitting on a hill. If anyone wants to write about Pakistan's foreign policy analysis with respect to China and with respect to all of these areas that I've covered, they'll have to talk to me, because I found the way. And for them, but by find me, I mean like they'll have to cite me. They'll have to cite my thesis. And if I publish a paper, then they'll have to cite me. So they can't just claim that, oh, I found this little gap and I did this, because that's academic dishonesty. And I take that very seriously. So you have to make your own mark. And in order to make your own mark, you have to think differently. Start just like this. I began thinking deeply about things, and I thought to myself कि मैंने अपनी PhD में बहुत सारी चीज़ें ऐसी सीखी थी, ऐसी की थी, that have helped me in life beyond my academic life. And so once you start thinking about your life as a whole and you stop having this like tunnel vision कि my work life is my work life and my personal life is my personal life and my spiritual life is my spiritual life, once you start blending things together, and once you start bringing all of your ideas and your learnings and your knowledge into one common place in your head through your writing or through your journaling, then you can make wonderful links within whatever you have learned. And so I was able to make this link कि मैंने अपनी PhD के thesis लिखने से मैंने life lessons क्या सीखे, because these things can be applied to anything. And I hope you found some value in this, and let me know if you're able to find something that just sparked a thought for you. I would love to hear that. Thank you for watching.